Aaron, you look around the league. Most times, if a team has this many guys injured all at once, the second unit, let alone the starters, don't usually look as cohesive as you guys have looked. Why do you think there's been such a level of connection on the floor, even with kind of so much influx right now?
I think the group that we have has a really good understanding of just kind of the system and the way that we play doesn't necessarily change based on personnel on the court. There's a togetherness and a sense of just style of play that we kind of have as a unit. We're on the court that the organization emphasizes. So regardless of personnel on the court, playing small, playing big, we want to play the style of basketball that the Thunder kind of prioritize. So
When you see moments like last night when J Dub just rips the ball out of Booker's hands, or a couple nights ago, Cason Wallace steals the inbounds pass while he's defending the inbounds pass. Are there those moments of hesitation where you guys react and are like, "Holy cow"? Or are you so in the moment that you're just next play?
I was on the bench when J Dub took the ball right out of Booker's hands, um, and I kind of looked at Jay Will, and it was just like those are plays that we have a number of guys who can make plays like that, and it's in the moment you're like wow, but then you sit back and you realize like it's not surprising. Like we have guys who do that. We gotta, our guys have a really good feel on both ends of the court, just of trying to make plays, whether it's anticipated in the moment or something that you watch on film. Our guys are comfortable, and we trust one another to be able to just go out of their way to sniff out certain plays that they think they can make. So um, J Dubs still last night. Kaysen stills. AC has a ton of them every game. Lou's able to kind of make those plays on the defensive end a lot. So those are plays that guys are, I don't want to say used to seeing, but we expect plays like that to be made.
You get your fair share too.
I have my few number. Yeah, I guess a fair share.
What have you seen and liked from AJ so far?
Uh, his confidence and just the transition. I know coming from college could be difficult. He's done a good job, just kind of staying level-headed, staying grounded, and understanding that he's got a lot to learn, but at the same time, when you're out there, play like be comfortable, be confident, and play your style. So he's done a good job, just trying to find ways to adapt while also playing within his style of play. So.
Might be a little bit of a weird question, but do you see a little bit of yourself in him when you were a rookie?
In terms of his like maturity and the way that he kind of goes about himself, yes, I think he's very just kind of like he has a mature way of himself. He's kind of quiet, a quiet guy, stays to himself, but within the play of the game and learning and practices, he's very very just attentive and like ready. So
What
a
have you
little bit.
seen from Jalen defensively at the five?
Um, just the same tenacity that he kind of has at the one, the two, the three, and the four. I don't think much has changed for him. Just a lot more, obviously, having to be more physically, involved on the defensive end, fighting those bigs. But in terms of him being there, I think it kind of gives him opportunity to make more plays, all over the court. So I mean, impressive what he's doing, and not surprising though.
The small ball stuff that you guys are playing predicated on defense, hustling, and just being, multifaceted, and it's just tailor made for your game. I mean, didn't it kind of give you a smile that you're on an NBA team where your style of play is very, very like appreciated?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the whole team kind of has that mentality of hustling hard, making plays, just kind of having a dog mentality, diving on the floor, and being a part of that. Is it's fun. It's obviously not easy, but it's fun to be a part of. And I mean, when you're out there on the court with those guys, and all four guys behind you are putting forth the same amount of energy, effort, and kind of just tenacity on both ends of the court as you are. You're able to kind of go out there and be a little bit more comfortable and play within the team. So it's fun to be a part of.
You've played with Lou for a long time now. What's it like for you seeing him go up against a guy like Devin Booker and different guys each night and like neutralize him the way he did the other night?
Yeah, I mean he's brought it. For all the years that I've been here, he's he's brought that same level of intensity to every matchup that he has. And there's nights where he's just unbelievable, and then there's nights where you wouldn't say unbelievable, but the job he's doing is still like unbelievable, especially in comparison to a number of guys out here. So, we've got guys like that who can reciprocate that same energy. Between Caruso, Kaysen, obviously Dub. Those guys on the defensive end are just maniacs. So, from Lou Dort, you expect a lot from him, and even when you don't think that he's doing the most, he's out there doing the most. So,
What are some of those invisible things that people might not recognize have an impact defensively?
yeah, just his ability, one, to kind of get through screens, to guard the ball one-on-one and not kind of, be a guy that, allows for players to kind of get downhill or get to their spots. He's just very disruptive. He's able to just kind of make guys have to work to get a decent look. Yeah. And if they can't get a decent look, they're fighting for a second look or a third look, and eventually they'll just get rid of the ball. So, he's just very disruptive, and he makes teams get to their fourth options instead of playing comfortable.
Aaron, Mark was just pretty frustrated last night about the free throw rate. I think it was 17-3 at halftime. It ended up being like 40-18, and this is not a new thing. This has been happening all season. It's kind of what he was talking about. I just wonder, is that something you're concerned about?
Not anything that I'm concerned about individually. I'm not a guy who is getting to the free throw line like at a rate, or will be getting to the free throw line at a rate that some of these guys are getting at. But our job is to go out there and execute our game plan and put ourselves in positions to win. In terms of everything else that we can't control, we've got to stay focused on the things that we can. So we can't control the foul calls we're going to get. We can't control, a number of things. But, we trust that Coach Mark and those guys are fighting for us and trying to get us, the calls that we should be getting. And it's early. It's early in the season, so it's no telling how it changes or if it changes. But, our job right now is to focus on the things we can control.
I guess as it may concern you, he was saying that, I don't know if this is individual guys, but he was saying, the team was coming to him and saying that, you guys are asking him how you guys can improve, and he's saying it's kind of putting a cap on you guys offensively, that you're not maybe getting those whistles. Do you agree with that? What are the conversations there if you're involved in them?
I definitely think there's a certain sense of, just a feeling, being out there working for certain shots, and then when you get certain looks and, you think you get fouled, there's calls that you might not be getting, and it limits, opportunities to score, to put the ball in the hole, free throw line, all of that. But like I said, the things that we can control is continuing to go out there and put forth the effort to, get good looks. I think, most guys probably believe that the calls would start to, favor in our way a little bit. But, until then, we got to make sure that we're just doing our part.
Mark, Aaron was just talking about the commitment to the system that everybody has, and that's why even with so many guys out, there's a lot of cohesiveness on the floor. It doesn't seem to really look clunky out there. But what's your level of appreciation for the guys being able to adapt to that, some of the newcomers and guys who have been here but whose games are changing, to be able to commit to that system and with such great integrity?
They've done a great job. But the thing I definitely don't want to overlook is just the competitive spirit during this period of time. It's as much mentality. They know what to do systematically, and it really doesn't change based on who's on the court. But, the seeing things as a challenge, competing fully, that's where it's at, and that's been on full display this week. They've done a great job of that. We have to continue to do that to continue to be competitive in these games.
And you got Dallas coming in. You'd mentioned, kind of reviewing that playoff series, and obviously you guys are so familiar with them. What's a big takeaway that you have coming into this game that you're going to have to be keyed in on?
The playoffs is over. We use that to learn more about our system, learn more about our players as we headed into the summer. Now it's a new season. We're a new team. We have new players and we have evolved players. They have new players, and I'm sure they've got evolved players. So that's how we look at it. There's obviously wisdom that we have from our experiences against them and every other team over time. We'll apply that moving forward, but at the same time, we're not chasing ghosts.
Mark, going back to your comments on the free throw rate last night, I just wondered, we've talked before about, offensive reputation and defensive reputation. I wonder, do you believe in, reputation of drawing fouls? Whether, this 13 game sample will have any future effect on your ability to draw fouls? Is that going through your head at all?
I take, if I'm going to address the officials, which I don't do very often, both in game and publicly, then I'm going to make sure that I have credibility and integrity, and I'm not going to be overly subjective. Everything I said last night was just stone cold fact, and the numbers are the numbers, and I was just laying out the numbers, really in the context of how do we improve offensively with that type of free throw rate. But I was not, I'm not going to get into assumptions or anything like that. I'm going to just stay to the facts, and the facts are the facts. That's what I laid out last night. And if I address officiating in the future, it'll be fact-based.
What do you think of AJ so far? He seems like such a mature, well-rounded player.
He's a mature, well-rounded player, and has everybody's developmental trajectory is different. And some people struggle with something early. Some people get off to fast starts. He has, in the role that he's in, gotten off to a very predictable and stable start. He's a very low mistake player on both ends of the floor. He's very predictable, and he's also got a lot of upside. He's somebody that we think with time and with development, physical development, reps, wisdom from playing not only this season but into the future, we think he's somebody that can really grow as well, while also being able to play a stable role now. Casey Wallace was like that last year. He could play a stable role. It was somewhat narrow in his first year. AJ's right now is somewhat narrow, but just because your initial role is narrow doesn't mean that you don't have room for growth, and both of those players do.
If you've been able to take advantage of this homestand that you've had, it really doesn't happen this early in the season, and just being able to stay home, get comfortable, and just kind of go over some stuff.
Yeah, I think it's paying us back a little bit for the start of the season. We had a lot of road games, and even our home games felt like road games because we were coming off the road and going back on the road. So it's been good to get into a routine. It's been great developmentally because we've gotten good development time in our building, and to be able to string days together like that in the season is difficult to find in the schedule. And so we've done a good job with it. I think our guys have gotten, again, good recovery, good development. We head back on the road here, coming right up. So we got to be ready for that too.
We had Aaron over here, and he said he sees some similarities in AJ and himself when he was rookie. Do you also see those similarities?
Yeah, I think, a lot of our guys are pretty resilient, adaptive, opportunistic, optimistic, and those are tough roles. You're a two-way player, second-round pick. All you want to do is prove yourself to your teammates, establish yourself in the league, and yet you're being asked to play, these minutes, this role. AJ last night, we're running a play. He's getting at the top of the key, and he's just like facilitating one side or the other. He's activating one side or the other. Like, that's not going to get you, a highlight tape. But it's what we needed him to do on those possessions. And Aaron, him, and a lot of the guys that were in that situation have done a great job of being ambitious and wanting to be really good, but doing so inside the confines of the team. And that's why our team's been good, because we've got, all of our players do that. They deserve a lot of credit for that.
You made your first Cup game last night. NBA Cup game, obviously, next week you got another one on the road. Just, are you finding yourself appreciating the Cup concept with the NBA's put out a little bit more this season, whether it just being fresh, it's coming? Do you have an appreciation for it?
Yeah, it's good for the business. It's. I think that was the foundation of it. Is the fan interest early in the season. It's good business early in the season, and they asked last year for everybody's commitment to it, and the players and teams did a great job of that. The fans were very energized by that last season, and that's carried forward. So it's good to play in these elevated games, in a regular season that can become one game after the next. It creates almost new distractions for you to be able to cut through and focus on competing, which is ultimately what we want to do every night. So, but yeah, I think it's a good concept.
Lou's defense on Booker last night obviously was pretty loud, and Aaron was just over here saying that sometimes you just can't appreciate everything that Lou does defensively. What are some of the things that kind of go under the radar with what he's able to do out there?
I just think it always goes back to like the way that it feels to be guarded by him. And then as a team, we want to be a team that you don't feel comfortable against and that you feel disrupted. And he's a huge part of that because he's an irritant as a defender. And so I always go back to that with the defensive stuff. I mean, he's got some fundamentals. He's obviously got great tools, but he plays in such a way that I don't think anybody's really excited about playing against him. Even when they get the best of him, there's nights where they don't go 2 for 10. There's nights where they Booker in the past has really gotten us with Lou Garden. And so, but those nights are earned, against Lou Dort. And, I think that's the most potent thing is that if you look at it from the other player's perspective, from the other team's perspective, he's just a guy that is not comfortable to play against. And it's great that we have him on our team.